Last spring, Ford held a pretty elaborate event, streamed online, at which it unveiled its first mass-produced long-range electric pickup, the Ford F150 Lightning. Designed and built on a brand new chassis and featuring independent rear suspension for the first time in an F-Series truck, the F-150 Lightning was marketed by Ford as being built Ford tough, surprise, surprise, and ready to go to work on pretty much any job site where Ford's existing internal combustion engine trucks go. And while the chassis underpinning the F-150 Lightning, complete with all-wheel drivetrain and a choice of an estimated 90-ish kilowatt-hour or 130 kilowatt-hour battery pack, was an all-new system, the rest of Ford's electric F-150 was, well, pretty standard. Sure, the front and rear of the higher trim F-150s got special lights that differentiated them from the rest of the family, and the absence of a tailpipe or traditional grille is a big giveaway. But the rest of the truck, from its 5-foot 5-inch bed to its crew cab layout, looks and feels much like other F-150s out there. Even the massive front trunk doesn't stand out when closed. At 10 feet away, it's clearly not a regular truck, but on the freeway, it's most definitely a stealth EV. And as a queer trans person living in a rural area, that camouflage was one of the reasons that I and my partner decided to put down our name on a pre-reservation. It doesn't have the Marmite styling of Tesla's Cybertruck or the obviously an EV look of the weekend-loving Rivian R1T, a truck which, by the way, I truly loved when I drove it last year. So today I'm here to tell you about my ordering experience thus far of the F-150 Lightning, because last Thursday, along with a few thousand other lucky people, I was in Wave 2 to turn our pre-reservation into a confirmed order. I'll tell you about the truck we decided to order, why we ordered that truck, and explain where it will fit into our family and business lives. But before I do, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss out on our videos. And if you'd like to see more content from the channel, please consider supporting us through Patreon, Bitcoin, or Ko-fi. The link's below. I've already told you that of the trucks coming to market, the F-150 Lightning is probably the most stealth of the lot. And you might think that with that in mind, I would have decided to pick the entry-level Ford F-150, the F-150 Lightning Pro. It retails from just under $40,000 US and comes with vinyl seat interior, basic vinyl flooring, and a get the job done attitude. And for some of the things we plan on using the truck for, getting soil and compost for my garden, buying wood for my wife's woodworking hobby, and transporting straw, hay, and hemp bales for our animals, that'd be fine. But Ford, presumably because of its desire to get more people trading up to the XLT and higher trim models, only made the entry-level Lightning Pro available to retail customers with a standard range battery pack. And because we're buying the truck for a mixture of work and personal reasons, we felt we needed the larger pack. And that's to do with road tripping the team here at the channel, and all of our camera equipment to events. A few years ago, this channel was a lot smaller than it is today. We had less equipment and fewer people on staff, so throwing a few cases in the back of my Chevrolet Bolt EV, a few things in the tiny motorcycle trailer we have, and then hitting the road wasn't as much of an issue as it is now. We now have 5 people on staff, and all of the Pelican cases we now regularly travel with means getting inside a hatchback is proving impossible. The last road trip we did, when we went down to San Diego and California to film with Comma AI, and San Francisco to film with Ample, we actually took 2 cars with us, a Tesla Model 3 and a Ford Mustang Mach-E GT. Even then, with 4 people on the road, we had both cars full to bursting with production equipment. A pickup truck and a huge front trunk, super, mega, hyper, massive power frunk, or whatever Ford is calling it, plus a massive load space at the rear, means that we can seat 5 adults and get all of our gear in. And the longer range the truck, the more easily and more effectively we can avoid going to the airport and flying. Not flying, coincidentally, helps save a huge amount of emissions, and it also makes it far easier for us to carry things that the TSA would rather we didn't, like large amounts of batteries and equipment like sliders that are often mistaken for other things when going through security. Buying the XLT version of the F-150 with the extended range battery pack might potentially feel like the next logical step, but because of the way Ford's packages have been set up, doing so would have cost us close to $75,000. That is far more than the XLT standard range, $55,000, and as I've said, that shorter range pack isn't that great for us as a company to road trip with. It's also worth noting that the other major reason we opted to go for the F150 Lightning, backup power, is easier to do with a larger battery pack. I live up in the foothills of the Coastal Range in Oregon, and we have had several power cuts while we've lived here that have lasted for several days at a time. And in pretty much any season, that can happen. Having a truck that can provide power back to the house in an emergency, especially when you run your business from home, is a real advantage. And as engineering explained recently detailed, the cost of an F-150 Lightning with extended range battery pack and vehicle-to-home system is likely more affordable than the 3, 4 or 5 Tesla Powerwalls our energy-intensive home business would need to keep running in a power cut. Especially since Tesla won't sell you a Powerwall if you have a non-Tesla solar system on your home, which I happen to have. With all of that said, I think you can tell where we're going next with the truck, the F-150 Lightning Lauriat. But second from top spec, it doesn't come with extended range packs as standard, but if you do opt to upgrade to that spec, you'll get a whole host of extra onboard tech included as standard, as well as Ford's Blue Cruise, the F-150 tow package, which is designed to make towing easier, and the extended range pack. You'll also get the 80 amp Charge Station Pro thrown in and a 9.6 kilowatt Pro Power onboard system as well. Based on my previous experience with Ford's Blue Cruise, you can't get it on any lower trim F-150 Lightnings, it, like most driver assistance systems today, can help you stay safer on the road. And everyone on the team who recently drove the Mustang Mach-E GT said that they felt less tired than they would have done driving a non-assisted system because of Blue Cruise. And thus, since we are looking at making some really long road trips, it makes sense to go for it, especially when sometimes we literally have to start filming the moment we arrive, turn around, and then head home again. Now, at this point, I should acknowledge that in order to get the vehicle-to-home system up and running, we'll need to pay Ford's installation partner an additional fee on top of the truck. But at this spec, we'll have an interior that's comfortable for road tripping and the load-carrying capabilities you want, as well as the longer range and power backup capabilities. So what about paint and options? Well, we decided we didn't need the Max Tow trailer package because that adds extra cost and we don't ever anticipate needing to tow more than 7,000 US pounds. And for the colour, we went with Atlas Blue Metallic, which is the closest thing we could get to the Transport Evolved Blue of old. And it's also a no-cost option. The total sticker price is just shy of 80,000 US dollars, and I'm going to admit this is the most expensive thing I have ever purchased outside of the 2 homes I've purchased in my life, and it still makes me very nervous. But if we consider that a Powerwall installation large enough to run our home, our well, our septic system, and the studio in a power cut would cost about 2/3 the cost of this truck, once you've installed it, that is. So this seems like a decent deal. Sure, we will have to spend extra money to get a secure, lockable load bay solution for the rear, but for that money, this seems to be the most pragmatic pickup we can buy. As for the ordering process, well, last Thursday, I, like most Wave 2 invitees, got an email asking me to configure my truck. We jumped online, picked our options, having discussed them a lot beforehand, and I put down a $500 deposit. When the truck arrives, we'll have to go through the usual process of finding financing and negotiating any trade-in, but for now, that's it. My dealership wasn't involved in the process, and I'm just waiting for them to confirm my order. Which brings me to some questions I know that you will want to ask. First, what about dealer markup? Well, the dealership we've chosen doesn't appear to be doing any additional dealer markups. They certainly didn't for the Mustang Mach-E that we're now probably not going to get because we went for the more expensive F-150. That said, they've just changed hands, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed that that will remain the case. Second, what about the Mustang Mach-E we had on order? Well, it's actually due to arrive at the dealer any day, but the finances of getting both vehicles are a little ridiculous given the current economic climate. A new car might be nice for my wife, But it's not going to do anything that our current cars can't do, except maybe go a little further per charge and recharge more rapidly on the road. And given the F-150 will likely become our road tripper, we really don't need both. So for now, with both Bolts having a brand new battery pack and a brand new battery warranty, they've both had their battery packs swapped after the battery recall, we're going to most likely keep the status quo until the truck arrives, which, according to Ford, is sometime in the next 24 weeks. So, second week of July? Third, did we get any special treatment? No. I put my F-150 deposit down about 2 minutes into Ford's original May presentation, and I think I was the second or maybe third customer that my dealership had a reservation from. I am aware that Ford's wave process is upsetting a lot of folks, and we're going to try and look into that a little more in the future, but no, we didn't get any special treatment. Finally, and this is a doozy, why are we, a channel that regularly asks you to help us out with Patreon, spending $80,000 on a truck? Surely we need to just stop asking for funds, right? Well, no. You see, I'm buying the truck with my wife, and we are spending our money on the truck as our personal vehicle. We're spending our personal money. We've turned down other vehicles to get the truck and have backup power for this house. I'm not spending TE's money to make this happen. And yes, while we probably will claim some of the truck off our taxes, I want to make it clear that the money I bring in from TE is nowhere near enough to cover the truck. The majority of the funds we bring in at the channel goes back to the channel and paying the other people who work here. I hate that I'm even having to put this in a script, but I haven't actually paid myself since November because we had some losses associated with CES, and because sometimes that's what running a business is like. Anyway, that is pretty much it. We've been saving for the truck for a while, are going to trade one or maybe both of our cars in for it, but we're viewing this as a Powerwall on wheels that also happens to be a great hauler, and most importantly doesn't draw attention to itself. And that's it for today. If you like the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to leave your thoughts down below or in our Discord chat room. Make sure as well that you've subscribed to this channel and our other channel, Transport Evolved Take 2, and give the bell a gentle ding to make sure you're told when our next video goes live. Thanks on behalf of the entire TE crew go out to the folks on my right for being our $15 to $49 a month Patreon supporters. Special thanks to our $50 a month patrons, that's Chris Maxwell, Brian Newton, Jason Bordeaux, Dave Kitchen, Michael Goad, Ricky Leon, Andrew Martin, Guido Jahota, Brophy Wolf, Tazla in the Gong, Gordon C, Stephen O'Donoghue, Carl Hodgson, Anthony Coates, Regine Fellows, Rory Litwin, Anonymous Freak, Jim Burness and Denny Hyde, and our deepest gratitude to our $100 a month Patreon supporters, Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, Joe Bresney, JP Fagerback, Will Graylin, Matthew Drobnak, John Lyons, Christopher Lee Jones, Laura Reynolds, Paul Conway, Ellery Hensley, and Ian. If you are feeling left out, you can join Patreon at the link below, or you can show us your support through Bitcoin, Ko-fi, or our swag store. Thanks for joining me, and as always, keep evolving!